Welcome, one and all, to Enlightened Conversations, where this season we're going just that little bit deeper and not skimming on the judgy surface of life. I will also be sharing conversations with my guides, and you can be guaranteed that all the topics that come through are authentic, life-changing, and enlightened, because we want you to live a more joyful, peaceful, and loving vibration. Let's go. Hi everyone, it's Michelle Lightworker here, and welcome to Season 7 of Enlightened Conversations podcast. I love new beginnings, and I have been away for the last little while, traveling abroad for about 12 months, November 2023 to back last November 2024. And I have been spending some time working on Michelle Lightworker version 5.5. In other words, I turned 55, and just enjoying being retired and enjoying taking care of myself and getting super fit after traveling for such a long time. And I'm in a really great space, and I'm excited to be in a zone where I'm now able to do an offering for both myself and the community, I feel, because I've always loved contributing, whether it was in my career or whether it was, when I was in my 20s and I was volunteering as a sponsor for eating disorders, whether it was doing things for the local community service that needed help. I just always have loved being of service. And so for me, I'm balancing my retirement with also community service that also grows my own soul and my own spirit and keeps me on track to make sure I'm connecting. And there's something a little bit different happening for Enlightened Conversations this season. I know that last season I actually read a little bit out of my Conversations with Ralph book, and I shared some of those amazing conversations of information that came through from the intergalactic being, Ralph. However, I'm going to be sharing a little bit more from my a wide range of my spiritual team, and a wide range of topics as well this season. And so it may be me that you only see on the screen or hear, but there will certainly be voices and conversations that I would have had and summarized or be reading pretty much from being channeled, depending on the situation as we go. So it's a little bit of an adventure. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I'm at a place where it's time to do some sharing and connect with the community again. So if you're listening, just know that you being a witness to me sharing my learnings is just as important to me as it is to you. I feel that we are connected, and as I share any learnings that I have, it grows your soul, grows my soul, and together we're united in our energy, and so we can only benefit each other. So in that spirit of the growth of unity, I would like to begin and share with you I guess you could say a catalyst for the first topic, which is about truth. And as you know, I have 12 principles that I go by: honesty, open-mindedness, willingness, forgiveness, unity, discipline, faith, responsibility, love, wholeness, joy, and peace. And I am extremely interested, actually, that this first topic is truth, because it came to me from when I was in my meditation a few days ago and got the message that this would be an opportunity for resparking another season of Enlightened Conversations. Anyway, so I was doing my meditation, and one of my favorite guides, Archangel Michael, came through and had some pretty interesting things to say about truth. So I'm going to just read the little summary that I have for you so that you've got an idea of what, and then I'll share a little bit of my opinions and things like that. So Archangel Michael spoke to me about truth, and I was genuinely curious about what they were talking about. So they expanded on the topic, and they said that truth only exists in context. Interesting. That on the journey, all our journeys, there are no mistakes. So truth is unique, and also then thereby justice is unique, and that the law does not make something right or just. So the law itself, it doesn't fix anything, as there's nothing wrong to begin with. The law supports the organic nature of truth. It's not just in and of itself. Law supports the organic nature of truth. And that's why precedence exists, because a judge has decided that in some context, something made sense. So something was not deemed a crime or was not deemed to be outside of the law in that context. Everything that happens is for our evolution of consciousness. It also serves the evolution of consciousness for another. So law plays its part in our evolution of consciousness, in creating boundaries that are responsible to live by. That are reasonable to live by. However, crime is not really criminal. It's just part of an unconscious aspect of individuals. Crime is desperation, saying, I believe in not enoughness. We don't know that we're committing a crime when we're blinded by our fear of lack. We have nothing to lose because we feel we have nothing. So when we've stolen things, we don't feel we have enough because we fear we'll never have enough. And then in that space of not enoughness, the more we have, the more we fear we will lose. And this is the unhealed wound for a lot of crimes. And there's a lot in that. So obviously the focus really morphed into the law and context and what truth is. It really went to a real legal kind of zone. So that's kind of extreme. But if you think about truth in your general life and you think about what you think, if you're living your truth, and then it looks a little bit different to somebody else's truth, you might judge them. Like you might be the judge and you might say, oh, that's not right. I don't see how that person is doing the right thing. So you have that critical component of yourself that comes out and or automatically judges how a situation's unfolding, how a person's dealing with that situation unfolding as well. You may or may not be able to see the context as well. If you were more educated on the context of the situation, you may understand and be able to break down the levels of consciousness or unconsciousness that are occurring. And it will help you, help everybody, not just you, help me, to step into your clarity and out of your judgment and into your clarity of your higher self, and more into your heart space, more into compassion, more into understanding, less into angst, less into revenge, less into wanting to punish, less into wanting justice. If there are no mistakes unraveling at that moment in time and you see the whole context of the situation, then it grows your compassion. It doesn't grow your angst or your judgment. So that's a really big one, because when you think about all the things that are happening in the world, whether they're, a politician, making a law on something, or a war, or a document that needs to be put forward to cut budgets, or whatever it is, or in relation to responding to another country or what have you, it's easy to just, blow it off and just say, oh, they're ridiculous and that's a ridiculous idea. But you just don't know all the facts. You don't know what context this is in. You don't know, there's a lot we don't know, right? So it's one of those things that it gives us a break from the angst. And I think that that's what Archangel Michael was trying to bring forward to me. I'm not in a lot of angst, but there are moments where I react. You see somebody doing something, and you know it's unconscious, but you still have a reaction to it. In those moments, because there are a lot of them, and if you follow the news or, you know, scrolling through social media and you see these things, it's easy to just kind of stay in a little bit of a low vibration from those automatic reactions. And I think the message that's coming through from Archangel Michael here for me is, in order to stay like vibrant and, you know, healthy in my soul and healthy in my internal systems, like not feeling stressed and not feeling like I'm toxic, making a toxic environment for my internals, even from time to time, I can get better at not reacting. I can get better at not stepping into that angst, because I can remind myself, hey, yeah, this looks ridiculous. However, I don't know all the information. I don't know all the facts. I don't know potentially the contracts that this person even might have made with individuals before they incarnated into this lifetime, as to what's going on in the whole picture. So we can spend a lot of our time in judgment of other people. And you know what? We can also spend a lot of time in jealousy of other people as well. We can look at people and go, oh gosh, you know, I love their life. And you don't know all the facts. As like, you know, influencers and watching their lives, it might be just a snippet of their lives. You don't get to see my whole life. I didn't share all of my whole life this morning with you. You're just seeing me now, like after I've, you know, gotten ready to do my show, and you don't know what happened in my day today. You don't know. It has been a pretty awesome day. However, it might have been a crap day. You wouldn't have known. And you might look at me and admire me, but hey, I might not be telling you the whole story. So I guess the message in this, it's loud and clear for me, is I need to be more responsible for my energy and how I respond in situations, in terms of the quickness of that response, is going to get hopefully healthier and healthier. That I'm not going to stay in grunting land about something, or judgment land about someone, or whatever it is. And I don't spend a lot of my time there, but I'm sure I do spend time there. So yeah, so like, you know, the first automatic response to a situation that you know is totally unconscious can be just a bit of a judgment, right? And that spiritual arrogance, I guess, you know, that spiritual I'm better than stuff, it can come out in this. And especially the more conscious you become of unconscious behavior, you can do oh, that's just unconscious, instead of go, okay, well, there's a lot of learning that, who knows what the context is. That's interesting. I'll get curious about it. Maybe I'll be shown more information on this if I ask my guides, or maybe I'll be shown more information on this if I'm willing to question. Maybe I'll be able to see the bigger picture of why this is folding, why this is unfolding, and have more patience, like be able to develop more patience with people, with situations, with the world, and maybe not focus on them as much. Maybe just get more into my joy and do things that are more that grow myself and my soul. So those are the kind of things that hopefully I'm bringing to the table today that feel helpful to you in managing your energy, because truth only exists in context. So it's, you know, that's a big statement. And I love that I got that the other day, and this was something to talk about, because, you know, why waste your time and why waste your energy judging something that's totally A, outside of your control, B, none of your business, and C, that potentially, if it is part of your soul growth to rise above in a more heart-centered way, why not take that opportunity? So that's basically where I'm going to leave that topic. It's pretty big in itself. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about topics when they're that huge for like a whole hour. I will just like literally give you the topic, and you can mull it over and digest it and think about it. And wonder if it is serving you to be a more judgmental person or a more open-minded person. So it brings this concept of truth in context really does bring the principle of honesty and open-mindedness together, doesn't it? And it makes us step into more compassion, and that's definitely going to feed people the heart energy and the solutions quicker. So that if we're stuck and we're trapped and we're in our judgment, we're not holding them back from their learning, because there are a lot of times in our lives with our friends, with our family, we don't realize it, but because we're stuck holding onto with judgment, we're not serving the situation to shift if it needs to shift. And that includes with people who have passed over too. You know, if we're holding on to some angst and we haven't found our heart space with something, they can't move on. So then we're in a prevention of their evolution zone. So yeah, it does kick in that principle of responsibility and how I'm responsible for my own energy, and I'm allowing that person, by me freeing up my own energy, to be released and able to evolve in their most organic way they're meant to be evolving without interference from my energy. So that's where I'm going to leave it today. I will say I'm excited to be back and sharing the deep depths. And I think maybe that's the topic of this season. I was wondering what it was. I hadn't done my little intro yet. But I think that's the topic of this season, is going deeper. We think we're deep, but going just that little bit deeper and just seeing it from that little bit deeper perspective and not skimming on the judgy surface. So I hope you've enjoyed today. I have, and I look forward to seeing what the next installment of Enlightened Conversations, episode 2, will bring. Have a wonderful day and stay in your heart space. Lots of love and light. Bye for now.